If you're a fan of a TV show and follow it religiously, do you look for the slightest clues that could give you insight or confirm your theory? Imagine a bunch of people watching you closely and coming at you guns blazing when you mess up. In this video, we'll talk about a Blue Bloods blunder that the fans caught during the Aaron and Miranda interview scene that contains distracting crew equipment. First off, the Blunder Bloods. Fans obviously love the hit CBS generational drama and keep a keen eye on it, but this scrutiny has caused them to be angry at the creators of the show because they've caught something that shouldn't have been there. As you know, the show follows the Regan family as they work on cases in different areas of law enforcement, so during one time when the siblings worked together on a career-defining investigation, fans spotted a major error. If you look closely, you could see crew equipment during a very important scene. Okay, let's take a step back. If you don't know where to look, we'll guide you. During the Season 7 episode, Guilt by Association, police detective Danny Regan asked for his sister's help after his key witness was killed, and Aaron interviewed Miranda, who claimed that she had seen who killed the defendant. Even though Miranda was very sure she had seen the murderer run away, she obviously couldn't really admit to a court that she owned an unlawful weapon. So now Aaron was forced to find a stronger witness statement so she could put the murderer behind bars. It was during Aaron's interview with Miranda that fans were left distracted by a glaring error. The viewers gathered at a movie mistakes forum to expose the blunder. They wrote that at the start, when Aaron is interviewing Miranda, they take a break, and just as Miranda says she's starving and stands up, a big red T mark is visible on the floor in front of Anthony's feet. This blunder was a distraction for some, but many viewers were able to look past this error and continued watching the episode. Isn't it a bit ironic that the show being about investigation and detective skills, the crew couldn't find the big red T mark during the filming or even the editing and quality assessment phase? If the fans could see it, we're sure the people working on the set could as well. Or maybe it's no blunder at all, but some obscure clue that the fans need to put their heads together to understand. Do we have a new interactive TV show after Black Mirror Bandersnatch? Yep, we're definitely getting ahead of ourselves because this isn't the only time the Blue Bloods team hasn't been able to put their detective skills to good use. Then, the subtle Lord of the Rings sequel? So now, viewers, tell us, can a ring change color all on its own? Not unless it's a fantasy or science fiction show, right? Like, we aren't watching Lord of the Rings here, but Blue Bloods has taken a whole new direction. It's no longer just a generational drama because people's rings change colors here suddenly. Sure, Blue Bloods is one of the most popular and well-received dramas on TV, but even the best can make mistakes from time to time, right? And recently, a fan of the popular Tom Selleck-led series pointed out a wardrobe mistake. This fan wrote that in the very first episode, Frank Regan is getting dressed to go to Jamie's graduation ceremony, and he slips on a watch and then takes a ring with a blue stone to put it on. You can see that it's definitely and very obviously a very large blue stone. But then this memorable ring suddenly changes because in another episode, Frank Regan is seen raising his drink with his right hand, but this time the ring has a very definite and obvious red stone. Okay, let's look at this critically. Frank Regan is Thanos in disguise, collecting the Infinity Stones. And lastly, the black hole. When the whole Blunder Bloods thing became famous, a lot of fans came forward with one more continuity error. In Season 6, when Danny Regan was on a stakeout mission in the episode Worst Case Scenario, fans wrote on the Movie Mistakes forum that during the stakeout of the apartment building and the exterior shots of the Clyde motorcycle shop, we see Danny peeking out through a ripped paper opening within the letter D in Clyde. But in the interior shots, the black tape letters of the word Clyde differ. The eagle-eyed viewer continued that the paper is ripped between the two letters D and E, and the space within the D is blocked with molding, which means that the exterior shots from that angle would be quite impossible. Thankfully, the stakeout paid off, and Danny was able to save the city after taking out the terrorists before their bombs went off. But how he saw all that is beyond us. He could belong to a team of superheroes. After all, his father is Thanos. Despite all these major blunders, Blue Blood remains one of the most watched TV series in the UK and the world. So maybe people don't really care about such errors and just want to have a good time. And that's exactly what Blue Bloods is doing. But now that Season 12 is premiering, we can't wait for more eagle-eyed fans to find more blunders and post them in forums to discuss. Now, let's talk about something other than the blunders. Other related news. Let's begin with Blue Blood star Tom Selleck hits back at critics over Magnum PI fashion choices. If you were alive back in the 80s, Tom Selleck was a pretty big deal, mostly thanks to his charisma and acting, and a little bit thanks to his tight little shorts that accentuated his tushy. And we just can't believe that some people had the nerve to criticize that. And Tom Selleck also wasn't having any of it because he just hit back at those telling him that they weren't appropriate. If you remember, Selleck was thrust into the limelight after landing the lead role as Thomas Magnum on CBS highly acclaimed crime drama Magnum PI. With over 4 decades of success in the TV and film industry, the 77-year-old reflected on that role and and the 80s fashion, which was him sporting a baseball cap and a thick mustache, wearing small shorts and a red Hawaiian shirt. During the Kelly Clarkson show, speaking about his outfits, he revealed that he gets a lot of short questions because they're short, to which Kelly remarked that they were short back in the day though, and Selleck defended his fashion choice and stated that that's what shorts are. Shorts are shorts, and those pajama bottoms that they wore for about the last decade are silly. Can't disagree with Mr. Selleck there. He highlighted its danger, saying that we can tip on them and recognize that shorts were making a comeback to modern fashion. He said, "They're coming back up. Look at the basketball players. Shorts are coming back to where they're supposed to be." Moving on to Blue Bloods theory, Jamie Regan to be made captain. Blue Bloods fans are convinced that there'll be another promotion in the family, and this time it will be for Jamie. Although Blue Bloods ended in May, fans have been looking forward to its return and anticipating the fate of their favorite characters. You know that the importance of family values are at the core for the Regan patriarch, and Frank takes pride in the fact his children followed in his footsteps in law enforcement, as he was the NYC police commissioner. But now the fans believe he's about to become a lot more proud of his son Jamie, who's right now an NYPD sergeant. This wasn't going to be because Jamie only entered the police academy after choosing to give up a promising law career, and throughout, fans have watched his slow but steady progression as he climbed the ranks in the force and became a sergeant when he secretly took the test and gained a top result. And now, as fans await season 13, many believe that Jamie will receive another promotion and secure a position as captain. And ending with, why did Jennifer Esposito leave as Detective Jackie Curatola? As our promotions and blunders part of the show, we also have an exit that left people puzzled. Despite the show's longevity, the majority of the Blue Bloods main cast has remained the same, with only a handful of its other characters making their exits, one of which was Jennifer Esposito. Why? Let's find out. While she only had the also starring distinction during her time on the show, Jackie was an important member of the team as Detective Danny Reagan's partner. We saw her in the first 3 seasons, but saw her being taken off before season 4. Well, in Blue Bloods, Jackie decided to take an early retirement from the NYPD after showing signs of burnout. But what's the reality? A private news agency tried to explore and found out that in a statement to The Hollywood Reporter in 2012, CBS said that Jennifer informed them that she could only be available to work on a very limited part-time schedule and was unable to perform the demands of her role, which is why they had to regretfully put her character on a leave of absence. And that's it from our side for today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or thoughts about Blue Bloods blunders, let us know in the comments below. See you in the next one.